Hello everyone, I'm CivicBot and today I'll be doing a quick review of my custom Star Trek USS Enterprise B. The USS Enterprise B first appeared in the movie Star Trek Generations in 1994. The beginning of the movie shows a champagne bottle floating through space, which almost seemed like an eternity, before smashing against the hull of the newly christened starship. NCC 1701B was its registry number, a tradition that will carry on to Enterprise E and beyond. She was the third starship to be given that name, following NCC 1701 and NCC 1701-A, both commanded by the legendary Captain James Tiberius Kirk. Captain John Harriman commanded Enterprise B in the beginning. Kirk, Scotty, Chekhov, and crew members of the decommissioned Enterprise A were invited to the ceremony. On their first run, which was a publicity run, they received an emergency distress call from two transport ships, which were trapped in an energy distortion called a nexus. Being the only starship nearby, they answered the call. Unfortunately, they couldn't save one ship, but they managed to beam several crew members of the other ship. In the process of beaming the surviving crew members, the Enterprise B got caught in the nexus. Harriman, an inexperienced captain, asked Kirk for advice. A resonance burst, which is a powerful energy pulse, was needed to disrupt the nexus, but it needed to be fired from the deflector array. Harriman made the decision for himself to go down and make the necessary modifications, but Kirk stopped him, feeling that Harriman's place was on the bridge as the captain. After the modifications, the resonance burst was fired, which acted like an antimatter explosion, causing the disruption of the nexus. But in the process, the section of the deflector array was damaged by the nexus, causing a breach in the hull and the assumption Kirk had been killed. Not much else was heard about the Enterprise B after that ordeal. If you read the books, the Enterprise B did have some exploration missions as well as some military ones, and was lost due to some kind of illness the entire crew contracted. The ship went to deep space to prevent the spread of the illness, and the ship was never found. But that was the books, and I'm not really sure how that fit in the timeline with the rest of the Star Trek series. In my storyline, and yes, I have written a storyline involving 4 Star Trek series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise, the Enterprise B was finally retired after a rather uneventful service life, only to undergo a major modernization program and recommission into Starfleet a few decades later, serving alongside Enterprise E. That's all I'm going to say about my storyline. Modifications. Made by AMT Erdl, the Enterprise B is in 1/1000 scale, along with the USS Excelsior, as you can see here. I kind of wish that they made these two models in a larger scale, but I'll get into that a little later. I never liked the warp nacelles that were designed for this class of ships. Personally, I thought those warp nacelles made the Excelsior class look like an ocean liner. Don't ask me why, they just do. They almost looked as old-fashioned as the warp nacelles on the original series. So what did I do to fix this? Simple. I bought the USS Enterprise E model made by the same company. The Enterprise E is in 1/1400 scale, even smaller than the Enterprise B and Excelsior scale, but just the right size warp nacelles and pylons for the job. The first step was to make a cutout on the sides of the deck so the pylon tabs would fit right in. Second, I deleted the engineering dome and used styrene plastic I bought from Evergreen scale models. Thank you, Evergreen. And matched the 3 pieces with the rest of the deck, as you can see over here. Third, I also never did like the saucer support or neck because it looked like an accordion. So I cut some styrene plastic, covered the back of the neck, and matched it with the deck also. At the front part of the neck, I added 2 extra torpedo tubes. Fourth and lastly, I don't like the back half of the hull. It's way too thin in my opinion. This is why in my storyline I created what I call a power pack, which certain sections can be removed depending on the mission. You can see it here on this model, the Excelsior, which I also modified. The power pack housed extra photon and quantum torpedoes, a whole lot more, and extra phasers for battle. The power pack gives the Excelsior class a bulkier instead of a delicate look. On the Excelsior, I removed the warp nacelles and pylons and attached it to the deck just like the Enterprise B. I kept the engineering dome just to keep some originality. When comparing the two starships, the Enterprise B looks sleeker and faster. The Enterprise E's pylons and warp nacelles look like a natural fit to the B's hull lines. Plus, it gives the starship a slightly longer length than her sister ships. Like I said before, I kind of wish AMT Ertl came out with a larger scale of these two models. Maybe a 1/537 scale like the USS Enterprise A? Hey AMT Ertl, can we settle for a 1/650 scale? In the future, I may add a power pack, and of course, I'll be ordering some decals and do some odds and ends to finally finish both of these models. For future projects, I'll be giving you a more in-depth look and process of how I do things, and unfortunately, I couldn't do that before because I've built these models way back when, and I didn't take pictures of them. So, please let me know what you think and if you have any suggestions. And please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Until the next time, I'm CivicBot. See you soon.
Civicbotdomain.